Now that we have an understanding of how emergency power gets to the room, let's review the often confusing part, how to interface with lighting controls. There are a few different ways to accomplish this, but commonly an emergency shunt is used. An emergency shunt is a device that when normal power is lost, it'll automatically close the emergency power relay to turn the lights on regardless of what the lighting controls are doing. Here we can see a wiring diagram for a common emergency shunt. There's a lot going on, so bear with me and we'll walk through each part. On the far left, we have the incoming emergency power. Next is the emergency lights. In the center is the emergency shunt, which has 8 electrical connections that need to be made. Next, we have the normal lights that are being fed from the lighting controller. And lastly, the incoming normal power. On the right of the emergency shunt, we have 3 normal power connections, the normal neutral, the normal switched, and the unswitched normal. On the left is 3 emergency power connections, the emergency neutral, the unswitched emergency, and the switched emergency. Finally, we have the 0 to 10 volt positive wire connections to the shunt. To understand how your specific emergency shunt operates, you will want to refer to the manufacturer of your device. But most of them operate by opening and closing the emergency side relay based on the switching of normal power. When the normal sensing circuit is lost, such as during a power outage, the emergency side relay will automatically close, turning the emergency fixture on. Now, if it seems like it would be difficult to wire correctly, that's because a lot of times it is. The number one call that Touche would receive with shunts such as these were due to wiring issues. With seeing the wiring diagram and realizing that the shunts are normally being wired in a ceiling to a junction box full of different wires, it's not hard to understand why. As Touche does with everything, we came up with a simpler way to control emergency fixtures. We designed our own UL 924 listed smart emergency shunt modules. There are 2 different variations, one that has dimming and one that is switching only. The smart emergency shunt modules can be connected to the room manager or the smart pack and greatly simplify the installation. Here we see a wiring diagram where a smart pack is connected to a smart emergency shunt module with a Cat5 cable. This Cat5 cable connection provides the control to the smart emergency shunt relay and is also used for sensing of the normal power. Normal power is connected to the smart pack and then to the normal fixtures. The emergency power is connected to the smart emergency shunt and then to the emergency fixtures. The 0 to 10 volt wires are ran individually to their respective fixtures. Using the smart emergency shunt module eliminates any confusing wiring connections and the need to bring 2 power sources to one device. Under normal operation, when the smart pack turns the normal lights on and off, it tells the emergency shunt to turn the emergency lights on and off. When the smart pack loses normal power, the smart emergency shunt will automatically turn the emergency fixtures to full bright. Finally, a UL listed emergency shunt that is easier to design, understand, and wire.